lot of times people don't realize you're a veteran, and then once they do, they're like, oh, they think of you as a whole different person now.
It's just like, wow, I didn't realize how important that was.
You're sitting in your living room on a lazy Sunday afternoon, and perhaps you dig out one of your old photo albums to sift through. What you expect to find are pictures from your family vacation or perhaps childhood memories, but instead you find a picture of your grandfather. And this is no ordinary picture of your grandfather. This is a picture of him in his World War II army suit. And not only that, he has your neighbor on his right and one of your teachers on his left. Now, you're probably very overwhelmed by this very idea because you didn't realize that you were surrounded by veterans, but you are. A veteran, strictly speaking, is anyone who has experience and expertise in one occupation or field. So a soldier just has this experience in specifically the military life and service. Having been in this type of environment, these men and women have experienced changes and revelations that have greatly shaped their character. So it's essential that we learn from their words and their stories. Whether they enlisted or were simply drafted into the military, the most immediate effect of being in this war-torn environment was that it sparked a reality check for the soldiers. With the new environment and strict regulations, these soldiers were put in serious perspective of their duties.
I sat back and I started thinking about what was going on.
Movies or TV where you don't see the gore. And here I had the gore right in front of me, and I said, "Oh, this is not a game."
You kind of lost yourself physically.
You wake up when you go into a combat zone. You wake up in, you become more intense. Your humor is more intense. Everything.
I mean, we still have the personalities, but at the same time, you realize that, hey, you're not fooling around. This is something real,
At home, we are allowed a lot more freedom and lenience, but for years, these soldiers are surrounded by structure and discipline. Whether it's the early morning wake-up calls or the piercing commands of their officers, these habit and attitude changes stick with the veterans for a lifetime.
It's the regimentation. You learn how to take orders, follow through, make sure things happen.
And boot camp was boot camp, they break it down and yell at you.
Typically got up at around 5 in the morning, and then we did the strenuous exercises.
Helps you get more organized, because when you're in the service, everything is organized.
Mainly a cultural change, discipline change. It set up a lot of structure. It put us all in the same way of doing certain things.
It just brings you up. I mean, it just lifts you up. I mean, you're no longer a kid.
As these men and women spend more and more time in this strict environment, they became inevitably changed as individuals when they returned. This discipline especially set them straight and gave them skills that would help them fare better in society.
It made me independent.
It taught me a greater amount of self-reliance.
If they went into the service as a distraught or confused young adult, they emerged as a mature member of society with a better vision of themselves. If they went in arrogant, then they returned more humble and more aware of their place in society.
I was more structured, a much better team player. I understood discipline, I understood goals, I understood objectives.
I was never the best kid around, I was getting in trouble. Not really with the law as much, but just around. I come back, a lot of people notice it, they're like, man, you're a different guy.
From a happy-go-lucky kid in New York City to a turning point at the war that changed me completely.
The service gives these soldiers both life skills and academic skills that they can use upon their return and for the rest of their lives. Think about it like going to sleepaway camp or trying an activity for the first time that you don't realize will have such a large impact on your life. Individuals in the service are put out of their comfort zone where they discover hidden aspects of their character and they find ways to better themselves as people.
It makes a better person out of you. It shows you what the country's all about.
It gave me an insight on how to give leadership to people, to set my goals, to establish principles.
I really think that I learned in the service that if I put my mind to something, I could do it. It gives you a sense of what you're capable of.
I think my time in the service gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me the structure. It taught me how to plan. It taught me how to develop detailed schedules and to have backup situation. If this doesn't work, what will we do? If that doesn't work, then what? So
I learned to tolerate people, a lot more than I did before I went in. Before I went in, you surround yourself with just people that you grew up with. But after then, you surround yourself with everyone.
I am rich in a lot of ways. This doesn't mean a thing anymore to me. Money don't mean a thing.
I feel respected,
I come back and everybody's like, thank you for your service, thank you. And it makes you feel better inside. I think that's probably the best part about serving.
In addition to improving themselves as people, these veterans have had profound experiences that have changed their views on certain aspects of their lives. Not only do they receive the personal benefits, like the pride and the respect, but their attitudes about the people in their lives and their personal pursuits have all transformed for the better.
I met some very, very brave and wonderful people.
I got a chance to travel. I got a chance to meet a lot of interesting people. People I met in the military are my friends today.
Comradeship, that is the main thing.
Best thing is the brotherhood. You make friends forever. Friends you'll never let go.
there were trips that I took specifically to go see old friends because I just wanted to go see them. I may never see them again. And I think that derives from Vietnam. Casualty rate, you never know what's going to happen.
At the ripe age of 18 and 22, these men and women didn't really know what it meant to give their service to America, and they didn't know the rewards that they could receive from doing so. After serving, however, they realized that there was a lot of sacrifices and devotion required, but they also realized the warmth that came from contributing to a good cause.
I'm proud to have been associated with the military. I've learned that people sacrificed a lot, people have suffered a lot from it.
It's a personal thing inside to like know you've done something.
You were valued for what you brought to the job.
It's also an area that strengthens your patriotism for your country, and it brings out in you the desire to want to help and preserve, keep light so-called the fires of freedom. But what would be most important is how you leave something, and how you leave something is the effect that you would have or you have made on a young boy or girl for their lives or for the rest of their lives.
Not all veterans have had entirely positive experiences in service. However, most of them do recommend the service to all men and women. The experience matures these individuals both emotionally and academically, and it makes them more aware of their world and what they can do for it.
I think every youngster, 18 years old, should at least get 2 years in the service.
When you become 18 years old, we should make a tour of the service. You mix up people and you learn how to live with them.
Now like an adult out, whether it be a male or female.
I mean, they don't know the United States. They don't know the sacrifice and what it is to really do something, whatever it is, and give some time to the betterness of the country.
Even though the military experience doesn't directly relate to schooling, kids can still learn a lot from the veterans about the choices they need to make in their lives and the mindset that they should have in order to better themselves and their country.
You are born to make things better.
Study hard. Do the best you can in school because they are our country.
If you don't study now, and if you don't apply your skills as much as you can, the world will pass you by.
Just don't limit yourself. There are a lot of things out there, especially in this day and age. You need to look around, see what you like, what agrees with you. Just don't settle for something that's, you know, well, somebody told you you should do that.
I miss it all every single day. I miss the structure. I miss working with military people.
It gave me a skill set that you just, you know, you never lose that.
I don't care where you are, once you're in a war zone, you always carry that with you, always.
I love my country. I love my flag.
Seeing what I saw and experiencing what I saw, I made a vow. And I tried to live up to that vow. I would serve mankind as best I could.
I mean, it's always good to do. It's a service to the country, but the Army's what you make it, so is the military. So, I mean, you can go in miserable, you're going to be miserable, but if you just embrace it and take it for what it's worth it.
Just as it is important for us to stay connected with veterans, many veterans stay connected with each other through organizations like the Veterans of Foreign Wars Posts, or VFWs. The Colonia VFW in New Jersey is a particularly active community where veterans from different generations socialize over beer and billiards and recount the old times as well. There is nothing that can more clearly show the absolute devotion and commitment that these veterans have toward their cause.
To get involved with a lot of donating for charity and stuff like that. We get involved with the community activities, marching parades. I do a lot.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Our entitled to remain so. I would like them to appreciate what we have done for ourselves and for the community and for the country.
We now have a moment of silent prayer for the departed comrades, those missing in action, and prisoners of war.
Think back to that picture of your grandfather in the military. Granted, I'm exaggerating a little bit on the possibility that your grandfather, your neighbor, and your teacher all served in the military at the exact same time in the exact same place. But it is likely that you didn't realize any of these individuals served at all. My point is that as young people, we fail to realize that we are surrounded in history. History that exists not only in our textbooks, but in the people that we encounter every day, people that have actually lived through history. What I hope to accomplish through my project is to inspire the younger generation with the richness of the past. I want them to realize that learning history through the eyes of living and breathing people is invaluable. I want them to take advantage of these stories and lessons so that they can shape their own lives and their role in this country.